Next on Representative Jonah Wheeler from Peterborough to give us his perspective on this legislation. And I'm eager to welcome Representative Wheeler to Science, Technology, and Energy. We've never seen you here before, and it's great to have you here.
Well, eager to join you, Chairman Vos, and it's always a pleasure to be before Science, Technology, and Education, and Energy. Energy, oh boy. I haven't eaten lunch yet, as all of you either, so I will be as brief as I can, but that was a very good conversation that was just had with Representative McFarland and the rest.
Shirking my duty here.
Oh,
The previous.
this is
speaker
the cleanup crew.
Just wanted to,
You gotta be,
That's right.
Cleanup in progress, yeah.
right. Take
I
that
grew up in the dirt.
one. You know, keep everybody healthy here. All right. Here,
Thank
just
you.
Give that a minute.
Yeah,
The button.
there you go.
The button. Okay.
Representative Reynolds, thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. And just as an aside, there's hand sanitizer up here if anybody needs it.
Very good. You're a prepared committee. I like that. Exactly. So I am a co-sponsor of House Bill 1728, and I co-sponsored this piece of legislation because right now we live in a digital world, as has been discussed extensively in this last half hour or so. Everything, and it's not just our data or our emails or our tweets, is on a digital infrastructure. It's connected to the internet in some way. And we've seen over the course of the last several years, major infrastructure attacks. And if you could speak to any of the officers of three-letter agencies of the federal government who are privy to the attacks and other critical infrastructure problems that occur without the public awareness, I think we would all be stunned at the amount of events that are happening behind closed doors regarding our critical infrastructure, whether that be water, air travel, transportation of other sorts, and the rest. The whole country is run off of these digital infrastructures. And what's dangerous about that is, as I just said, these foreign or otherwise independent actors will exploit those weaknesses that are there, as was mentioned by the individual who was testifying with Representative McFarland. There were 400 water treatment facilities that they found that were completely unlocked, just ready to go. I can get inside of it and I have full access to your water infrastructure. That is incredible, and that is scary to think about with how much infrastructure that we have here in this country. And as was mentioned, if one thing goes wrong for 48 hours, a lot of people will die. And so I think this is setting a standard of care, a floor through which the rest of the public sector can look, just like Rochester has in its municipality, to a standard that they can meet, a goal to set. And to address a few of the questions that I heard, that I wrote a bunch of notes here, so it's very interesting. But just setting a standard at the public sector will raise the boat for all of us. And I think the better allegory actually is it will protect the boat for all of us. If we here at the public sector set this standard of care, yes, private organizations have done this themselves. Yes, we could rely on insurance or something along those lines, but we as legislators in the public sector have an obligation to protect the public infrastructure. And so I see this as setting that standard at the public sector, which has a role in protecting that infrastructure. So I want to be brief. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. But I would say, to your point, Representative Swanson, setting up a statewide bureaucracy, I think Representative McFarland answered your question well. But while I would be in some ideal situation in favor of the state making sure that its infrastructure was protected through state regulation, I don't think that's the be-all, end-all or how it has to be. And I think setting up this open-ended, broader standard of care, which sets the standard for those organizations to follow, is the proper thing to do. And then I would say that this doesn't set a prescribed method, but it does set that standard from which those other prescriptions can be found. And so I just wanted to add those two things on to those two questions. And appreciate the time, Chairman Vos, and I hope to join you on another good piece of legislation. Happy to take any questions.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you giving us your perspective. And Representative Corman has a question for you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Representative Wheeler. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
So a piece of infrastructure is only as secure as its weakest part, right? And I'm thinking about water. I live in Lebanon. We get water from Mascoma Lake. Anybody could walk up to Mascoma Lake and dump anything they want into it that would contaminate the water for the city of Lebanon. So can we really protect this critical infrastructure? I mean, we can harden parts of it, but there's always a soft underbelly.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I think that we have a situation where, you know, all of us here would love to protect everything, fix everything, get everything done. We all come with an agenda and a bunch of different pieces of legislation we'd like to get done. It will never be done. Nothing is perfect. Nothing will ever be fully protected. And I would say that's absolutely true of critical infrastructure as well. But I think the difference is that people can attack critical infrastructure, such as those 400 open water treatment facilities, from anywhere across the world in a basement with an internet connection and a little bit of savvy. Someone going up to one of the lakes here in New Hampshire and pouring something into that lake, that's a little difficult because it's in person. People are watching the lake generally. You know, if someone sees it happen, well, I mean, they are not always with a binoculars, but in terms of people will see when something has happened to that lake. If there's something terrible going wrong, they'll feel the immediate effect of some kind of poison being put into that water. And we don't see those things happening given the fact that we've had lakes for as long as human beings have been alive in terms of, you know, people poison lakes, but it's not something that we haven't been able to address before. I see that as different than totally open-ended cyber infrastructure that is left unaddressed entirely. No, we won't be able to stop every foreign or malicious actor who would like to invade that infrastructure, but we can at least have a little bit of a buffer between them and the infrastructure.
What?
If I understand correctly, really the key issue here is about being able to access this infrastructure remotely without actually having to be physically present.
That would be the key to cyber infrastructure, yeah.
Chair Thomas has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for taking my question. And I, too, am very happy to see you here, Representative. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. And I agree with your assessment. I think we do have some issues. In fact, this committee is also considering a bill with similar concerns about protecting the grid against things that are beyond our control and things that could be taken. My question is, this bill, is it going to raise public awareness and opinion to the point where, let me backtrack. I think a lot of us feel we're safe because I think a lot of us, at least until recently, rely on our hope that the federal government is going to take care of us. And naturally, of course, they are doing things back there that would keep us safe. We are understanding that's just not the case, and we don't understand why that they are not taking actions, at least to our knowledge. But will this bill be able to raise the public awareness and opinion within the people of the state to effect maybe some changes through our federal legislation in D.C. and perhaps take further action? And also, will this bill be able to cause people to take protective action here in the state in a way that can be inspected and verified that such action has been taken? I apologize. I was gone for part of the time. I don't know if this came out earlier, but I'm asking the question now.
No, thank you, Representative Thomas, and it's always a pleasure to speak to you as well. I mean, I would say my expertise regarding technology is to the extent of helping out my elders with the smartphone. So I don't know much, but I would say that protecting your data and cyber infrastructure is 100% worth the cost. And one of the small benefits of this, but benefit nonetheless, is that it opens up the conversation as to the critical infrastructure that we have here and the fact that it is on the World Wide Web and it is available and open to attacks. Most people, I don't think, have an understanding that much of, if not all of the infrastructure that we have here in this country is run off of this type of cloud-based grid. And I think legislation like this and testimony like this does open up the conversation, which has people more aware of the vulnerabilities that exist in the system today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the follow-up. Are you aware if this bill or the ideas behind this bill, if they went around to other agencies besides what was listed in the bill here, such as DOE or the utilities to, or even the PUC and water treatment plants to discuss this bill in terms of how it could be enacted?
That would be a question for the prime sponsor.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no further questions, I want to thank you for being here. It's great to see you.
Thank you,
and,
Chairman Vos.
We'll see you in the lunchroom.
That's right.
eventually.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, next up is Ms. Meg Stone from the Department of Energy.